So just a couple months ago, it was a real horror story that, people who haven't done the eviction process before, they think, well, I am entitled to the money that is owed to me and they need to get out because they haven't paid. They don't realize how long the process is going to be or how unfair it's going to be or how much judges will kind of give every benefit of the doubt to tenants. And I recently had that on display. We had a fraud case, basically, where, we would probably, we wouldn't call it a squatter, but basically someone used information on an application that wasn't theirs in order to get into it. So the person on the lease was not the person living there. So we evict the person on the lease and all unknown occupants. And the person living there doesn't really care about that because their name's not on anything. And they can draw out the process as long as they can. And at the end of it, we finally sign an agreement. You're going to move out before we get the sheriff to remove you. Great. Well, the tenant goes in and removes all the TVs off the walls, take the furniture out, basically loots the place. And the agreement said that as long as they left on time, the landlord would pay them $1,000. And we said, obviously, we're not going to do that because you have looted the entire apartment for thousands of dollars worth of TVs and furniture. So that doesn't really seem fair. You violated the agreement by doing that. Well, we brought it in front of a judge, and the tenant didn't appear in court because he was a fraudster, obviously. And the judge awarded the tenant $1,000. We had to pay him $1,000. No talk about the TVs and the furniture. It's just wasn't relevant, apparently. So, yeah, that stuff like that, I think that people just aren't prepared for. You think that you're going to be entitled to some kind of relief, and the reality is you just want to try and get that tenant out as fast as you possibly can and as cleanly as you possibly can.
So much of my conversations with other landlords is about justice to what you think is not going to exist here. Principle is not worth fighting for. It's like, this is just understand the rules, know how this works, try to get the best case scenario. Sometimes you're going to get screwed. Sometimes you're going to get a win. And that's the cost of doing business as a landlord here in Chicago. And ultimately 20 years from now, none of this will matter because you're going to be rich from investing in real estate.
Absolutely.
All right. You mentioned squatters. You buy a building, you buy a 6-unit, 20-unit building. You got a unit that's got a squatter in there, right? Like, girl was on the lease. She's gone. Boyfriend moved in. Him and his buddies are there now. They're not on the lease. They're in a unit. They're not paying. Do you go through the same process here? Or is there any different way to go about this quicker?
Yeah, not currently. I would say squatters are basically handled just like every other eviction. There isn't a more nuanced or a faster process like people would expect there to be. We're hoping that that's going to change. There's a policy change that goes into effect at the beginning of 2026 that might change things, but I wouldn't count on it. For all intents and purposes, you should treat a squatter exactly as you would a tenant that's not paying rent. But I would act more quickly on starting the eviction process rather than hoping you can work something out.
Yeah, there's no working out there. That's pure gloves on. Let's go.
I would say one other thing, not necessarily a squatter, but if you buy a foreclosure, there's supposed to be a process in place where you can enforce an order of possession from the foreclosure case. And if that doesn't work out, a lot of the time it will also just be better to start a normal eviction process rather than try and enforce the order of possession you get from the foreclosure case.
Okay. So then what's the difference where's the line between trespassing and squatting? Right? Like, when can I call the cops and be like, dude, this guy's got to go?
Oh, you should call the cops every time, right? Because even in the very unlikely chance that something happens that, the cops interfere or the cops showing up is enough to get the squatter to leave, it was worth the effort, right?
Sometimes it just scares them.
Yeah. And I have this conversation with myself all the time. Personally, I'd like to think that if it's my own home and I live there and someone broke in, that if I called the cops, they'd show up and be like, oh yeah, this robber just broke into your house, I'll remove them. But with investment properties, the standard for the squatter occupant is very low, in that there's someone squatting there, you call the police show up. Most of the time, the squatters that do this will either have a phony lease, they'll change the utilities into their name, they'll do something to make it seem like they live there. Send mail to that address to their name, something, right? But even when they don't have any of that, if the police come and they say, I live here, that's usually enough for the police to say, we can't handle this, you have to deal with it on your own, it's a civil matter, file an eviction. Like I said, come 2026, hopefully that burden shifts a little bit on the squatter instead of on the landlord, but we'll see.